All right, welcome back. Today what we're going to do is go over video section 2 on our thing here. Let me go ahead and delete that so you can see this. Okay, so here is an image. We're going to go to level 2 of our competency triangle. Let's go to that and look at that. So how do you mask images through with brushes? And what file extensions do you need for Adobe Brush Files, and how would you install the Adobe Brush File? So we'll talk about that first. How do you mask images through brushes? I'm going to show you that process right here. So we got the image, downloaded this one, not that one, downloaded this one right here. I'm going to go ahead and click and add a layer mask. Hit X on my keyboard for black to be my foreground color. And again, we're going to use that option delete. Remember that? It gets rid of everything, okay? So now I can just hit X again to paint with white. I'm going to get the brush tool. Now, this is the wrong brush tool, so I want to make sure I get the right one. Brush tool there, okay? I'm going to select a brush, and I think a couple of y'all were having some trouble with this earlier, so I'm going to show you what I did. So if I have a brush here, I'm going to make it a little bit larger with my right square bracket. Okay, there it is. Some of these brushes, one of our students informed me, some of these brushes are made for different things. So I'm going to use something in here that you might all have. I'm going to mask through a brush. I'm going to use just a simple hard round one and make it small. Definitely on the layer mask, and then as I paint, boom, I can bring the image back. Okay. Now you can get really creative with this. I'm going to hit undo, and I'm going to find one of my brushes that has kind of a scattered edge to it. Go to one of these, not my watercolor brushes, but maybe like a splatter. Let's see here. Let's go to I'm going to go to this one here, rough ink. Okay, now I'm going to make this big. Okay, now when I paint, there it is. See how it's got kind of a rough edge to it? Okay, I can bring part of the image through. This one actually, like as you paint, it's doing some kind of splattering thing. I click one time. That one brush is kind of interesting. I think that's made for something different here. Let's go to our brushes, and I'm going to use this one. I've been using this one pretty recently. Sometimes you'll see the brush look like this, and that's great. Now notice that when I click a couple of times, this one is kind of showing up. All right, cool. So now here comes the question: where do we get the brushes, or how do we install brushes? Well, fortunately for y'all, in your part over here in your Google Classroom, I'm going to go over to your Google Classroom real quick. And I'm sorry, not my Google Classroom. I'm going to go to my Google Drive for y'all. And if you click or shared drives, you'll see your class. If you're 2A Adobe Visual Design or 3B, you see this class. In here, if I double click on it, you'll see all your names in here, but Mr. Bush's file is right here. So if I click on Mr. Bush's, there's a file in here called Adobe Brushes. And I have a couple of brushes in here. There's one called Splatter. If I download that, I'm going to click the little download button. It's going to go right there. Cool. Now, I'm going to go, okay, I'm looking for those three. I'm going to go to my brushes panel right here. This one says brushes, and I'm going to click the three buttons. I'm going to say load brushes or new brush. Import brushes. There we go. Okay, I'm going to go to my downloads because that's where that one is that I just stored. And there's the splatter. Say open. And boom, it's down there at the bottom. Okay, there is splatter brushes right there. So here's one. Now if I want to see one of these work, I'm just going to simply go back a little here. There it is. Cool. They look great. I'm going to hit X and Option Delete to get rid of the background again. I'm going to hit X again to paint with white. And if I click one time, I can bring the image through with the splatter effect. I can click and move around. These 10, let's see, we want one splatter. Let's see what yeah, there's one. It's kind of cool. Okay, I can paint a little. Okay, if I like that, that looks cool. Maybe I go back to like a regular brush and I kind of touch that up. So I'm going to go back to my regular brush, paint in the, kind of touch it up just a little like that. Get the edges, the outer edges kind of to look splattered, right? That's looking kind of good. Go back to the very last one. Let's go back to one of these splatter ones and kind of just do a little bit of that right there. That's kind of cool. All right, so I've imported a brush. Again, how to do that, you select your brushes panel. You've downloaded the one I've given you. You go to brushes, window, brushes, and then we're in the brush panel here. We're going to click the little 3 buttons here and import brushes. We've got to find out wherever they are on our downloads. Okay? All right. After you've done that, the cool thing you can do is create another layer underneath it. I can go to solid color. Boom, I can give it red. Create another layer and start putting my type on here. Slowly start building maybe some kind of poster. And it's always important to remember that your type, or if you can't see something, try to move the layer up a little. So now we see the words are up here. They're very tiny. So, yeah. All right, signing off.